Hey, what's up? It's your boy Bobby Sapphire, and I'm here today to welcome you aboard the SWU Hype Train, our new podcast from the KTOD. Welcome in to all the viewers, all the listeners, and especially my brother Matty and my buddy Justin. What's up, guys?
We are back, baby. It feels so good. I don't even know what to say. I'm overjoyed. This is so good to be back. The podcast has been my favorite thing that we've done. And we've been doing so many different other things that we haven't done the pod in a while. Now we're back. We're rebranded. We're on a train now.
Choo
We're
choo.
We
going
always
West
were on a
Coast.
train.
We're on a train of dominance. This is fantastic.
Cool. Well, our first
You know what's
episode.
really funny
Oh,
is
go
I was
ahead.
wondering why it was the train until I just realized what KTOD stands for. Well, boom.
Well, me and Mike used to go to tournaments back in the day and make train sounds.
Yeah,
We'd be like,
actually, in fact,
choo-choo and
if you're
stuff.
listening to this, you might have already heard a train sound because I'm pretty sure a train sound is going to welcome everyone to the episode when I do the editing.
That's sick. We need KTOD conductor hats, train whistles. We have a whole new line of merch coming out in 2026.
I used to love my blog on the Star Wars CCG message boards. I had my own blog called The Train Station. That was like my favorite. That's like got me really back into writing about cards. And here we are today.
Random fact that Mike, you're probably the only person. I'm not even sure Steve knows this. That growing up, my mother didn't drive, so we actually were just anywhere we needed to go. So we were an active family. We would take commuter rail. We would take the MBTA in Boston. We were a train family growing up.
I learned how to ride the T from you.
Yeah, I grew up riding the train. The Great Boston Train Station. They even have a song, Charlie and the MBTA.
That's right. Well, our
Gotta love
first
the T, baby.
episode is called All Aboard. So, all aboard the hype train. Today, we're going to talk about the Paris Sector that Justin, Steve, and I went to, Matty's PQ Top 8. We're going to do some Set 7 leader grades. We're going to play Good, Bad, Broken. And yeah, who knows what else we have in store. And if you're wondering where Steve is, we'll have to see if we pick him up along the way. Well, maybe he'll get on at one of these stops.
He's getting off at getting on at another train station. I will say I am hyped that Good Bad Broken is back. It was one of my favorite segments we did from the earlier pods.
Yeah, shout out to the Arrowbrook Gaming guys for teaching me that in the Destiny days. So all aboard the hype train. What is this? We're a new weekly podcast. We had previously podcasted bi-weekly. That show had gone away. We had no plans to reforge it, but people kept saying that they wanted the podcast. Matt and Justin both missed the podcast, and here I am podcasting with you once again. As always, we're going to be focused on the competitive side of Star Wars Unlimited. That means meta recaps, upcoming card sets, events, things that we pick up along the way, insider info, those rules videos I do, like all that kind of stuff is going to be featured here. Anything else that's like kind of what you expected from us in terms of the video content we've produced over the last 2 years, which would be just about 2 years now exactly, that we started making SWU content. We're just moving that all to Patreon, and our public face will now be this podcast. And then when the next set rolls around, I'll do another 10-episode season of Show Me Your Deck, so you'll get 2 podcasts a week from me and the gang.
Yeah, still tons of content in the Patreon. That'll still be just as active as ever. And we're back to podding, boys.
And content that we can't do publicly. So if you think you might know what that means, check us out in our Discord.
Yeah, it's like, a lot of what we've been doing has been behind the scenes, and people that are in there every day know how active we are. But like, there is the people that, check in with us on YouTube, and they're like, man, I haven't heard from you in a long time, Matty, where you been? And it's like, it's nice to have this outlet too, to have some of those things. I was at, not too many spoilers for my PQ, but one of the top 8 contenders was like, man, I got into SWU when your Iden update video dropped, and I was like, I gotta deck tech that. I was like, whoa, that was so long ago.
Yeah, we used
That
to
was
do
a
deck
long
techs.
time.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. So that stuff exists in the inside the inside the community, but
Yeah, I still do a lot of deck tech videos for the decks that I'm playing. So I did Hanwhan Green. That was public, but we try to keep things active, internal, and
We've been doing tons of limited prep for Paris,
Tons of
for
limited
Milwaukee in the
Right.
Discord. If you haven't seen some of the apps on there to do limited play online, come check us out in the Discord. It's a great segue to my next slide, which is if you just want to find out what we're doing always, the best place to do that is patreon.com/KTOD. You can take a picture of that QR code if you want and just sign up for free. You get free updates from us. You get all of our podcast feeds right there. You get your own personalized RSS feed where you can funnel all of our podcasts there. And then if you do become a paid member, you've got deckless videos, streams, the Discord, and everything else. But please check out that if you just want the regular KTOD updates, because that's essentially our homepage, and that's where we post everything.
Fun fact, if you're a free member, sometimes you get emailed discounts. I just was told that my ability to purchase 50% off on the KTOD was dwindling. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, Patreon.
Right, also
Patreon's like running their own system there to get people subscribed to stuff. I mean, they make money when their creators make money, but even just sometimes Matty will accidentally post a deckless public. Who knows?
Whoops.
All right, let's one more order of housekeeping. We're gonna try and keep the housekeeping light, but it has been a while since we podcasted, so we just had to get some of this out. Have to thank our VIPs. These guys are the driving force behind both engagement, activity, and support for us in the KTOD Discord. And since we haven't named them in a while, I have to shout out Achilles, Beeflo, M, Luna, Imrahil, Zefki, Mitch, Dave, A-True Prophecy, ATP, Travis, Rick, Balls, Psychohazard, Sam, Chris, Ty Fabes. Chris is our enemy this weekend because he's a Seattle fan. Edgy Sith Lord, Dan Tartaglione, and Michael Fry. So thank you so much.
Achilles, another enemy, another Seattle boy.
Oh, that's right. They live on the same street.
No wonder why he hasn't been DMing me.
Yeah,
he's got to freeze out on me. I mean, if you see the VIPs at events, they just turn into a community ball and get everyone hyped with if you're doing well, they'll hype you up. If you want to play in the side events, they'll hype you up. Getting dinner and drinks after that, it really is such a great crew. And we're so thankful for
we went to
support.
Phoenix, and it was insane because there was no food at the venue. There was nothing. I mean, there was barely water. We found it at the vending machine at the end, and we're mid-round, there was no lunch break, and we're like, oh, this is rough. And then we just get a tap on the shoulder, and M hands us a sandwich.
M is always smuggling Jimmy John's into tournaments. If you ever see us eating Jimmy John's,
and she's like, oh yeah, and here, Steve, here's your gluten-free sandwich. It was nuts. Just how much she cares about us, and everyone cares. Dan, and seeing him in Pittsburgh was fantastic. Just seeing everyone pop up. The VIPs are
Chris let me use his Palp showcase in Portland, and that was the reason why I won right there.
Dubskis.
All right. Housekeeping out of the way, it's time to podcast. The first thing we're going to talk about this week is the Paris SQ that we went to. There's Justin, Steve, and me in the morning. That was us about to walk to the venue, waiting for our Uber outside of our Airbnb. We had a fantastic trip. The card playing could have gone better, but we had a fantastic trip.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to interject real quick. You flew to Europe the night before you had to play a whole tournament. I think just getting to the event venue, I know that you guys have been on an insane tear, but this is a victory lap. When somebody wins an event in golf, they go to the next event after and they say what's up to everyone. I kind of think you just did a European victory lap. I know you wanted to do better, but come on.
Well, that's a good way. That's a good way to look. That's a real beauty is in the eye of the beholder kind of outlook on life, which is not
I was
how
jealous
I feel.
AF. So I mean,
it was such a fun trip. I will say, Matty's sort of a mixture between what you're feeling and what you're saying and what Mike's feeling. We didn't do well. I went into it being what are the odds that we continue to do well? I had top 8'd 3 in a row. Mike won 2 and then top 13th. 16 and came in 13th. And I also we played a win in, so I knocked Mike out. At a certain point, and I was saying this a few times, sort of maybe sort of famous last words, but I was there was a game in Phoenix when I had 2 losses where I drew surprise strike off the top, and I won because of that. There's a certain point where that top card's not going to be surprise strike, and I think it wasn't surprise strike for me when I opened my pool, and I was this is not going to work. I don't have a Leia, I don't have a Yularen, I don't have a Jabba, I have a Mon Mothma and some good cards. I have a Slimore with 24 cards that can actually go into the deck before penalties start hitting. And my hands were somewhat tied. I think, and you also have that 20 minutes where you're trying to figure all that out. So I think Steve and I definitely suffered from bad pools. Mike, I think your pool was reasonable. We can get into that later, but you posted an internal video. your pool is reasonable, but it wasn't great. And it just wasn't our day. And we've had a lot of days, but the Paris days in general were fantastic. We stayed in like, what was it, half a mile or half a kilometer from the from the Eiffel Tower.
Yep. Yeah, we walked to the
It
Eiffel
was such
Tower
a
a
great
couple
time.
times. So I guess like to
cool.
get into how the trip went, we actually flew overnight on Thursday, landed Friday morning. Right when we get to the Airbnb, well, we walk into the Airbnb and it's completely not cleaned from the party that was there before. And it was like
Oh,
trash everywhere, like piled up in the kitchen, stunk, laundry everywhere. And we are like, well, we paid for early check-in. Now we can't do anything. So we're getting ready to go out and just like kind of walk around the city. And I check my phone and I get a Discord message from Benton. And he's like, what are you guys doing? Do you want to hang out? My friends aren't coming till tonight. And I was like, yeah, we're basically kicked out of our Airbnb for a couple hours. We're just gonna walk around the city. He's like, great, I'll be there. Drop me the address. And he trained over, and we just spent the day, the three of us in bed, like the four best friends that anyone could have.
I guess if you're gonna fill my shoes, might as well be the world champion, the
Yeah.
reigning world champ. So I'm okay with
And
that.
he's awesome. The
Yeah.
swoop
Oh, he's
racers in
great.
general, like we saw Sip the next day. Sip literally ran over and hugged us. That was so cool. That like, they're dominating Europe. Mike and I have had real success this season in the United States with the sectors and stuff like that, and it was really cool. I think all card games have this like community of like top players and just like that community and like that friendly rivalry that's really not even a rivalry at all. It's just fun and it's exciting, and I think it's really good for the game to see this. We had such a great time, and also shout out to that top right picture for the old SWCCGers. We got to see Bastion again, which is always a pleasure.
Yeah, we hadn't seen Bastion. Well, I hadn't seen Bastion since like the 1990s, but you guys had seen him at Star Wars Worlds and stuff. But it was great to connect with him. And then, yeah, just like what you said, everyone being friendly. Like, there's a certain animosity sometimes at American events. Maybe animosity is not the right word, but like it's tight. People are like really sweaty, and sometimes it just like tensions run high in those games, and there was just like not a single piece of negative energy in the room in Paris, and I thought that was pretty sick.
No, they were like sharing their approaches to the like limited meta and like what they like and like what cards. So like Benton and I were just chit chatting for like an hour about like the various like upgrades.
You
and
guys
one
talked about
drops
cards
and
all day. It
aggro.
was great. It was great that you guys like really like latched into that. Me and Steve were drinking and looking at the menus, and you guys were just like, "What do you think of this card?
What about
What's your evaluation on
what
this card?"
about what about this card? Yeah, the whole time. What's that 1/1 enchant or upgrade that does 2 damage when you attack? It's the card you liked. I hated
Oh,
it.
clandestine.
I love that card. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
I
But
did like that Benton agreed with me on a lot of card choices that you and the rest of the team disagreed
well,
with
I
me
need
on
to
others.
we'll get into limited but later on, but I need to reevaluate some of my week 1 limited assumptions to develop limited.
Time to reevaluate my personal biases. How many points is in that picture that you posted? It's like
Oh my God.
2,400
2,455 points before the event.
Before the
which
event.
you, Sip, obviously for top 8ing, you and Benton all earned points. Steve and I remained at status quo. But yeah, that's a lot of points in that picture. That is currently, well, not currently, but it was 1, 2, I think 8 and 9 in the rankings, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. At one point, I was like sitting next to Fame, and it was like, oh, number 2 and 3 sitting next to each other. Someone pointed out, which was pretty cool. That's how I met him. I want to shout out Sammy Fit too for like rocking the KTOD hoodie
Oh, yeah.
at the event, which was sick because
Sammy's awesome.
We see that a lot of the times in the U.S., but I wasn't expecting to see it here. I love this picture Justin posted. This is everyone watching me get
Watching
Bo-Katan.
Oh no.
Yeah,
on
you got
stream.
smoked. You got bowed. I will say, of my 9 opponents, 8 of them came up and were like, before the game, were like, "Oh, we love your content. It was really cool." Shout out to the European community, the French guys. I played a couple guys from England. Just everyone was super friendly, and I think like, you go over and you're like, "How is it? How are you going to be accepted? Right? Is it going to be tense? Is it going to be that sweaty thing you mentioned, Mike?" And it was complete opposite. It was everyone was like, "Oh, you guys are awesome. It's fun." Taking pictures. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was great. Is there anything else we can talk about limited kind of as a whole after we get to Matty's run? But is there anything else you wanted to say about the event? I thought OPE did a great job. I thought the venue was mostly good. The bathroom situation wasn't amazing. was desolate. There was nothing around there, but they brought in 2 food trucks, which was really helpful.
That's cool.
There's no like vending for water, no like water fountains or anything, so that was a little tough to deal with. But I did ask the stream team when I was on stream to bring me a water, and that ended up working out. So silver lining there. But
I feel like water consumption in America versus other places,
yeah,
especially Europe, is so different.
could be just that.
Yeah, at least when I was there like a million years ago.
Yeah.
To other countries not drink water.
Dude, I remember
don't know.
going
We
to
didn't
this
drink water in
restaurant
the 90s.
Sweden, and they didn't. When I studied abroad in Sweden in law school, and like you could like they didn't serve water at the restaurant, and like we asked water, and they had like room temperature water in like this back room that was just like a pitcher that no one was standing there. I don't know how old it was or anything.
It's
but
like-
so thirsty.
It's like the water the Fratellis brought out for the Goonies.
Yeah. I was just watching Fallout, and like the Vault Dweller girl like goes and like drinks the radiated water. It was like that.
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't much ice.
No, there's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
ice.
no
No
ice.
iced coffee for Bobby. That was tough. But yeah, all in all, I posted this in the Facebook group, but I do think that like if you have an opportunity to travel for this game, the events and the people are amazing. One of the reasons why we wanted to bring back this podcast and rebrand as a hype podcast is because there's just so much negativity around, and we don't really feel that way when we go and play the game, and we're trying to get the positive vibes out into the universe as we have been over the last year.
It's all
Yeah,
about the
and
vibes, baby.
Real quick about the negativity. The negativity exists because something that like 0.05% of the gaming community would get that we don't get. So for instance, a champ card that you could sell for $15,000 or whatever. So like the entire community is like, why don't we have that or whatever? The FFG is dying. But like the reality of it is that would go to such a small subset. Like why are we angry when a cool event that hundreds of people go to, that's got feature matches, that's in another country, that's in a cool space, that's got like tons of judges and like a welcoming moment from like the event organizer and all these cool promos and like mats.
FFG's flying people over there from their company to talk to us, and
right.
then like
So
the
all of this stuff that I've seen in Magic and Pro Tours, it resembles exactly what those other competitive games are. Right. The only difference is you don't have that pot of gold that's reserved for such a small set of people. So you know what? Like, maybe it doesn't offend anybody, but like, yeah, you know what? Maybe SIP should be mad, right? Maybe like Betten should be mad, but they're not. They love the game because they get it. But they're the ones who are winning. Or maybe Fame, right? Fame would be like, I'm hungry. I gotta eat. But like, no, he's loving the game because he gets it. Like the champ card would go to him, so he would maybe in a perfect world, he has a serialized champion card that he can sell to someone for $10,000. But like outside of that, what are we really complaining about? It's a great time to go out and play a really cool game. Limited's awesome. We got rotation coming up. That's going to be fun. It's exciting things to look at, like new decks
and a hot
stuff
new
like
set that we're going to be talking about
hot
later.
new set.
Sweet new set. The rotation and the new set, I think, are going to bring a lot of people back.
Hot
A lot of new
singles in
heads
all
that
our
have been
area.
waiting. Yep.
And the
Get
podcast
ready,
is
baby.
back, baby.
Get ready.
And the podcast. What more could you want in this universe? All right. Well, Paris was great other than the finishes. I did manage to squeak into the top 64 and get a cool uncut sheet that I assume they're going to put on a container ship and send across the pond at some point. But
What's the pond, mate?
all right. And then while we were gone, Matty took that opportunity to go to a limited PQ and made the top 8 in the Maine PQ. That's your second top 8 in Maine.
Second top 8 in Maine. My second PQ since Worlds. So I've only done 2 PQs. They've both been in Maine.
100%.
I've top 8'd both of them. I got bounced in the quarters of both. Ugh. But yeah, I mean, hey, when the boys are away, Matty will play. I had a lot of fun. I drove up to Maine, a little over 2 hours. Had a little bit of a scare. I don't know if I told you guys this story. I'm about a minute or a mile or both away from the venue when my check engine light starts flashing and my car won't accelerate or anything. So I pull over, I turn my car off, and I just say the famous line from IT Crowd, did you turn it off and on again? And I did, and it rebooted, and I just drove there, and I didn't have an issue the whole rest of the way. But I was like, holy cow, am I going to have to call AAA? Am I going to call Ben Winterhalter? Am I going to have to walk? Am I going to have to hitchhike? How am I going to get home? But I took a deep breath. I restarted my car, and we were smooth sailing.
Had you been using cruise control for like 2 hours straight? Because that'll sometimes do that to a car.
Oh, that might. I definitely. Yeah, that might have done it. I used a lot of cruise control on the way. I forgot. It'd been so long since I drove a while, so I forgot how to use cruise control, and I remembered how to do it midway through.
Nice.
My car's weird about it.
I also heard that
that's the preamble.
snowblower started after one pull the other day. So.
Oh my God! Yeah, it was crazy. Me
Justin
and my neighbor, who's very
me and Matt text about how to work the snowblower for a couple hours, and then Matty didn't get it to work, and then a guy came to fix it the next day, and it worked after one pull. My mom said
one pull, and I even had my neighbor come over, who's very he's like a guy's guy, he knows all this stuff. And we couldn't get it. It was so bad.
We're not.
Well,
yeah, I'm
shout
not.
out to all
I'm
the
gonna start taking
players
classes
out there
on every other Sunday.
who have
at
a little
Home
brother
Depot.
who's a gainfully employed father of 2, married, owns a house, and just sometimes still struggles to figure out the simple things in life. But this is a wild top 8. I didn't realize Corey top 8'd.
Yeah, it was crazy because Corey and I played for the 4-0 match, and his deck was very good, but I think mine was just a little lined into him, and he was a little bummed after, and I was like, I think you're good, man. You're just gonna go and crush, and he did. He won the next one, and he actually got to draw the final round against the homie in the orange there. But yeah, I mean, this was the complete opposite of when I opened my pool in Philly. I remember seeing my the person across the way mark down my sheet or whatever, and seeing them I'm marking this, and I was so dejected in Philly. I'm I have no 2 drops. My pool is terrible. And then I'm oh, we got Yularen, we got 2 drops, we got Nihilus, we got Dedra.
It's crazy.
I didn't have a lot of blue and green villainy, but I had all the hits. I had the shock troopers, the blue one, I had the green one. I feel like I had it all. I think this pool was
solid
pretty
deck.
gas. Yeah.
So this is insane, but you, me, Justin, and Steve have something very crazily in common for our pools this weekend.
Yeah,
we
insane.
all had Darth Nihilus, all 4 of us.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, he won me probably every match, to be honest with you.
You were the only one who played him. I actually did board into 24 card Slimeore every so often once the tournament started kind of deteriorating for me, and I made a little run. He was
too.
Nice.
Dude, I loved Nihilus. He was great. Yeah, the tournament was crazy. My first round was against Joseph on his very good local player on Jabba, blue-green. And to beat him was game 3. He took 3 damage from deck fatigue and then 2 damage overflow from that 3/4 in the last action phase of the game to Xaxi lethal him. It was my hardest match of the whole day, other than the top 8 draft.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
in 4-0, 0-2. I mean 4-0, then 2 draws, so 4-0, 0-2, whatever. And then I had a really good draft. I think the draft might be in here too.
Yeah, I was going to get to the draft, but I wanted to just shout out the guy in orange. That's Gritty Bliss. It's his 5th top 8 or so this season. He's got 3 or 4
super nice
top 8s
guy.
with,
Awesome, dude. He's awesome.
Super nice guy in our Discord.
Mateo's a beast. He's 12 years old, and he was just kicking everyone out.
Shout out to Mateo. He had lost win and ins the 3 previous PQs he was at, including the one that I top 8'd at with Sabe, and I talked to him outside. He was pretty bummed to just miss 3 in a row. So really happy. I actually DM'd Casey today, his dad, when I saw that he was in this image, and really happy for him. We got
he was bummed in Philly too, because I know he had practiced a lot of limited, and he had a terrible pull, and he loves limited. So awesome that he made it. That's awesome, man.
He's a good player, and he has the best outlook on things too. That kid is rad.
Yeah. Yeah, good weekend. 3 Dodonna guys in the top 8 there.
Yeah.
So shout out to our friends.
Ben won. So he was first in the Swiss and won the event.
Yeah,
Joe knocked me out with his Leia deck.
All right, and we'll take a look at your draft pool here. You were locked into villain with Dryden, Jabba, and Yularen. But we
I
thought your
honestly
pool was
thought I was cooking.
pretty insane when you sent us a picture of it.
Yeah, I think the one thing that happened, and maybe I could have aggressively mulliganed more. Like my first turn plays weren't the absolute strongest, and I think I started like 3-2, 3-1 off the mull. In game 2 I started with the 3-1 constable, which is not what you want to start with. And so what ended up happening is like while my leader deploys faster and I can kind of put the pressure on, like I didn't get to the gears of the snowblower of my deck did not get turning fast enough.
Yeah.
So while I was able to like, take control of the ground and like kind of outmaneuver him there, he would go like Coronet, Jade City in game 1 and beat me on the restore. And then game 2, he played the 2-4 ship.
Yep.
That turned into like a 4-5. And next thing I know, it value traded me in space with my 4-4s that are down there, those 4-drops. And then he had the space game. He went like he had that into Coronet into Jade. So I think it was just a weird alignment of decks. I had the Sentinels and I had some stuff in space, but once he took over space, I couldn't really contest him there. And so if I couldn't outrace it with that restore, I just fell behind. I think I was favored into like 6 of the other decks. I was a little scared of Bike Thieves because he had double Cartwell. So if he could like tap things down and keep them, that could have been a little scary. But I mean, 3 Naboo security, like the 2 5-drop guys, like I thought I was cooking.
Well, I'll tell you, if you had hung out with us the night before, I would have like told you that this is more of a Dryden pool. Don't even hit those 2 drops. Just skip turn 2, ambush turn 3, and get to your late game.
Yeah, could have been a Dryden angle. That was my first draft. So funny enough, sealed, I did the pre-release with you guys and then this. So I'm 7-0 and 2 draws in sealed, but 0-1 in draft. Rip the dream.
I think this is a brilliant like sealed deck. You don't think it would have lost a single game in sealed with this. I think draft, like one of the things that we saw being in France, sort of the evolution is that like there's these really fast decks. People are just doing everything they can to essentially go to space, be as fast as they can in space with upgrades, with like playing an A-wing, jamming Leia ability on it, and just playing like an upgrade, and just sort of like YOLOing this aggro space plan. There's not a ton of stuff that beats that. We actually saw it in the finals with Fame, where he was going 2-3 restore guy, and then like Senator Chuchi to restore, so he was actually just able to restore and win that way with like a Leia mirror essentially, where like you're on the ground, they're in space, but you're restoring. But I think like the yellow cars, you mentioned that 2-4, and like a Leia deck, they're just able to put the counters on aggressively and do upgrades and like underdrop, but that actually allows them to just like get ahead. So even though you're attacking with 2 actions, it doesn't even really matter, and you don't have like the value ability of your actions. Like you don't have the best turn ones, and then like the bounty hunter guys that have raid, they're going to be good if you're tangling, but like they're just attacking for 3. So like, yeah, you're attacking for 6, but they're actually going to be able to attack for more.
Right, they're adding damage to the board every turn, and the actions don't matter because they were going to out action you anyway.
Yeah, and then actually the other thing is like it just catches up because like the game ends up being over on like turn 4 or 5, and then you can play a Sentinel, but like you accrued enough damage, and like if your turn is like playing a giant Sentinel, it makes Beguile just so broken.
Yeah.
So we saw that pattern over and over again, and we actually saw that formula. This is the sort of thing I think it happened to Mike and I a little bit with the analysis of the metas. Like that formula shifted a little bit to sealed too. People were figuring out if they opened that pool in sealed, it was really, really effective. You saw a lot of like yellow Leias in sealed when you opened A-wings and ships and Beguiles. Like those were some of the best decks.
Right.
So
I would have loved to be yellow.
The yellow space is huge. Yeah.
The thing too is like you get what you get on the leader poll. Like it can be very punishing. Like I love draft. I think that the leader poll can be a little rough. Like I was villain locked. Didn't have Sly. I wanted to be yellow. The 2 decks in the finals were yellow decks. I thought like that's going into it, that was the kind of the plan we talked about. I agree on all those points. Sometimes you get past what you get, and you hope that you can make something happen with it. But yeah.
Well, good run.
Yeah, it was a good run. I mean, that's the thing about drafts. Sometimes you just get in a weird spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a 2-1 deck though. That deck looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I would have if I had one Beguile in the deck, I think I win against that space deck because he just made
this is so little removal in this set.
Yeah.
So little. Any other thoughts you wanted to leave us with on limited, Justin, before we move on to some good, bad, broken?
I think my last thought is that you just can't be fair in this format. You have to really lean into. So I think like in the first couple weeks of the format was successful. I was like, you want to hit your turn 2s, you want to hit your turn 3s, you want to hit your turn 4s. That's just like the key to the format. Have a good base. Things have actually shifted almost to the left of that even more, where people are playing like 1-drops, upgrades. Leia is better for that reason than it ever was. And if you're playing a deck like a Mon Mothma or sort of a more conservative list, even a Yularen, which feels like it should be faster, you really want to be looking at ways to get damage ahead of just playing units. That's the key now, I think, because it's evolved. People are saying, okay, the unit dance was fine for a while, but now there's an evolution there where people are saying, get ahead of it, and you can't just play Sentinels because Beguile changes the whole format. So that's kind of that's sort of where I'm at now. Beguile is the format. That card is the most important card. And it basically changes how all matchups are played. And then if you're in yellow and you can play it for 3.
Right. And then you can build your board while you play it, which just gets absolutely crazy.
The best deck is a Leia deck with a whole bunch of little cards and Beguile.
Yeah. I think that you need, if you have to play in the fair game, you need bombs. That's kind of what I learned. And if people are in the KTOD Discord on the Kashik Operative tier, I did a full breakdown of my pool. And even though I had Nihilist, 2 emergency powers, and some amazing green villain cards, I didn't have the early game to sustain it. But that meant I was playing a deck without bombs. And I think ultimately I lost to bombs in all 3 of my matches, game 3s, 2 Bo-Katans that I hadn't seen in the previous 2 games, which hurt, and a fully suited up punishing one with like sudden ferocity and stuff that I did not find my Beguile in that game. So yeah, play your bombs, play your Beguiles, the 2 big B's of limited play.
Pull the Queen Amidala in my practice pool. How sick is it? Like, just really quick, limited is so fun. Like, we're going nuts about Beguile I think is going to be good in the next format, but like I love seeing the cards that you go nuts for in limited versus
I know
Premier.
it's amazing.
It makes it really fun.
Yeah. All right. Now it's time for some good, bad, broken. I don't know if you've taken a look at these, but I did a couple different things with good, bad, broken. I wanted to start with Lego Pizza's Han 1 Tarkentown deck that he built. He in a side chat we have with him called it the non-Sabe Sabe. It's essentially a Sabe deck with the goated leader of the last 2 years, leader. Han Solo. So is this deck good? Is this deck bad? Is this deck broken? I played a lot of Sabe. Justin, you play a lot of Han. Matty, you play a little bit of everything. What do you guys think about this deck?
It is a classic Ian deck. You play good leader with Tarkentown. Good color scheme. It looks sick. I'm going to say it's good.
Okay.
I feel like it's one of those decks where when he debuts it, it is very good because it's got the surprise it factor. Maybe if people have a little more time to canoodle with it, they can figure out some lines. But yeah, I'll say it's solid good. It is cool. It plays a good color scheme. It plays the best leader ever to do it. Good deck, Ian.
Yeah, congrats to Ian for winning the PQ.
PQ winner, this deck. 52 cards.
It's not...
Oh, no, wait. That counts the leader in the base.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
It's not bad, I will tell you that. I think that what we need to figure out is if people who are playing Premier the next couple of weeks figure out if it's broken. It's clearly good. It looks like it can certainly do broken things because you're talking about you could play turn 1 Faith in Your Friends, and Han's used to having to put a card down and a card from your hand, and Faith in Your Friends is like play 2 units and also draw a card. Like it's
Yeah,
without
it's
having
why
to play
Han
combat,
1
it's
Yellow
pretty
is
nuts.
winning tons of events. 4 PQs, 5 PQs this past weekend.
Right.
Right. And then you've got some really neat things like putting a sudden ferocity on a Han. That's got to be cool. You've got turn 1 Gorilla Soldiers with Tarkin Town. Like that's really cool. Smuggling a Cassian a turn early is kind of neat. Like you're gonna play him as like a 4-drops, but he's put him down and then you smuggle him out and he's hasty. Like you got him and Millennium Falcon. That's pretty neat. You like
Get
5
Lightmaker out
cards
a
that
turn early. That's pretty crazy.
Lightmaker. If you untap a
Lightmaker, you're
Lightmaker,
still
that thing
playing
hurts.
Falcon, still playing Haulers, still got some pilots in there. You got Boshek to draw cards. Most of the cards are odd numbers. It's only the 3 surprise strikes the surprise strikes and the Kiras that are even.
And the Faiths.
In the Faiths. But yeah, I think this deck's really cool. It's really cool. It's really good. Test with your local group to see if it's broken. I think we should probably start testing this deck a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about Premier at the end when we talk about Milwaukee. But yeah, this deck looks cool. I know, Justin, you tried it out even for a couple games, so I'm interested to see what you think about when we sort of like confab on Premier Play. But huge shout out to Ian. It's too bad that I ended Show Me Your Deck because I would have had him on again. He would have been my first and last guest on the season because I would have had him on to talk about this. But I guess we talked about Sabe Red, and it's probably not that much different in style of play, but very cool innovation. And yeah, when in doubt, just play the best possible leader you can. All right, so we got 3 goods on this one.
Good.
All right, now taking a look at some Lawless Time spoilers. We got Terramin Barcona, a 4/6 5-drop. He's blue, he's green, command vigilance. When played, you may defeat a credit token belonging to any player. I love the parentheses there. Make sure you know you can do it to someone else or yourself. If you do, give an experience token to this and another unit. This is unshockingly an uncommon. This card seems absolutely broken to me, but in a good way. Like, credits seem nuts. His stats aren't amazing for a 5 cost, but when you defeat a token, they certainly are good.
This card's broken as hell. It's 5 power. It's 5 deploy for 12 stats worth of power, right?
Just
No,
for him, you get to
14,
give it to
right?
someone else too. Yeah.
Because it's essentially 6 power. He puts it on other things. Putting like a random experience token on a guy, like just a random, is so strong too. Like think about like
FN Trooper right now in limited.
yeah, like
Right.
and then the other side is like you could make your deck in such a way that like you'll have some like
Credit tokens
for
yourself. Yeah.
So maybe you actually get this guy out early. Like, imagine playing this guy because you're a credit token deck on turn 4 and you steal theirs. And you're just like, here's mine. I'm using my credit to play mine early. Now I make a 5/7 on turn 4 and turn my 3/4 into a 4/5. Like, how absurd a board state is that?
And you
they're,
never
like,
had your
sitting
credit.
there. You never had your car. And like, you know how in like the Han mirrors, like one of the things that Alex would say is like he would take damage off the table. He was claimed, so he's the first person to flip Han, so he can flip his Han first, attack with his Han first, which means that when they flip their Han, he can Han Solo their Han or do whatever to it. This is going to be the same thing. They're going to have a credit out. You're going to have a credit out, and you're going to say claim, and they're going to say, oh boy, and you're going to play this guy, and he's going to make this huge force. I don't know which character. Like, I guess he's from the. Is it from Andor?
He's from Andor.
Yeah, he's Andor.
He was the guy
Season
that
1
was
when they attack. Yeah.
yeah. The inside man in Eldani.
This card's broken as heck. And
Yeah,
also,
that was
you said
so
like
long
4/6 for 5 is like not a good stat line. Like that's like an insane stat line. Even as a 4/6 for 5, like Obi-Wan is a 4/6 for 5. Like
He's a 4/6 for 6.
For 6, that's what I'm saying. Like this is
Yeah.
4/6 is a 6 cost stat line. It usually. Yeah, this card's.
Yeah, it's crazy when they make these cards that are like so much more insanely stronger than anything else out there. It's like, where's the middle ground?
Yeah.
Where are like the pretty good cards? We've got like a whole bunch of cards that don't see any play, like entire sets of them. And then you make a card like this that's uncommon, it's just absolutely busted.
Love their uncommon.
5/7.
If you know it's good if it's an
5/7.
uncommon. I mean, it's great because in limited, this thing's going to be nuts. Credits are going to be flying everywhere. And my new, who dropped today? Vel.
Yeah,
What's her last?
she's coming up and in
Yeah,
leader.
I got
report
her
book.
in. with the sequencing, you can put Tamarin in there. Boom, boom, boom.
You get 3 experience.
Yep. All right. 3 brokens.
EXP all over the place.
All right. Here's another one.
it.
This is a hot new spoiler. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Protector of Felucia, a 7/7 Force Jedi Republic that costs 7. He's vigilance, he's command, he's heroism. He's a sentinel. While you control 7 or more units, the people of Felucia, he's a military trainer, their printed power is considered to be 7, and their printed HP is considered to be 7. Do you like a 7/7 for 7 sentinel?
I mean, he's basically just a 7/7 for 7 Force unit.
With Sentinel. Is there a significance to the number 7 with Obi-Wan? Like, what is...
No, I think they were just doing something cute. I think they wanted to, like, channel into this episode of the Clone Wars where he trained a town to defend themselves. So he was, like, training the militia, sort of the way that Mando did trained the village people with Cara Dune. So I think it's meant to be like you can if you raise an army and Obi-Wan's there to train them, he turns them all in. But like you could play something that made you a bunch of spies, and then you slam this, and it's like overrun. Your guys are ready. You slam the Obi-Wan. He's a sentinel. He protects them all, and they become 7/7s.
There's a bunch, but then there's also 7. Like 7 is more than a bunch.
Well, he counts. Also, he counts. So 6.
He comes out. He comes out, and he makes the 7th one, and they like waylay one of them, and then his game text is gone. Like, I don't think this card is bad because he's
while you control 7 units, so if they bounce one, you're cooked, or one dies, you're cooked.
That's why you always keep a porg in your pocket.
Just always have a porg in the back pocket.
I think like a 7/7 for 7 is like it's Kelleran stats, right? And it's a sentinel and it's a force user, so those things are cool. But past that, it has no game text. I don't see how you're ever going to get that going.
All right, well,
it doesn't get beguiled.
Does Droid Foundry, Droid Manufactory, that rotates, right?
I guess that actually is a good point by Matty. Is that it's a sentinel that can't get beguiled, where like Captain Rex is a 7/7 sentinel sometimes for 6, and he's definitely seen play. But like beguile's going to be like beguiling your sentinel is going to be a big thing. I think this card is good because of 7/7 for 7 with sentinel, and the other stuff that has 7 is just whatever. And the art's cool.
Twin Suns or something.
Yeah, the art's cool. It is a legendary, which is kind of wild. Because it just doesn't seem that strong for a legendary. But all right. Yeah. So do you think it's bad? Are you putting this in bad?
I wouldn't put it as bad per se, but I think it's feels a little bit like a missed opportunity. Like this card should have been way.
Yeah, we have a legendary Obi-Wan.
A legendary Obi-Wan. I'm gonna say it's bad for that reason.
Okay.
I don't want everything to be just agreeing. Sorry, Obi. I don't care about the people of Felucia. Next.
Wow. All right. This is a cool one. Is the VIP package, the $650 VIP package, good, bad, or broken? So it's just like the regular VIP package that's $350, only they have smartly tied the best benefit of the Galactic Championship, the early 1-hour entry, skip the line. You skip the line when you register and check in. You skip the line every day. You get to go to the vendors early. You get to go to the prize wall early. You also get access to a VIP lounge, which I guess we had last year. I had no idea. And you get a meet and greet breakfast with the Fantasy Flight Games team on Saturday, which we also had last year. I had no idea. So I really just got it for the plastic bases and the early lines. But now you can get the plastic bases for $350. Is getting in early, having a VIP lounge, and a free breakfast worth $300 upgrade or $650 total?
I think some of those things were day one last year, Mike. So you were with the you were duking it out there.
We both were. Hey, how much of a year turn is this, Mike? You had to play day one last year, and now you are crushing it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, I always thought that my year 0 was like really consistent. I had a lot of top 8 PQs. I had a sector top 16. Actually, this Paris sector was the first sector I haven't top 16 or better at. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to know I don't have to play day 1 of Worlds. it's nice to know that. But
Must be nice, buddy.
I guess like the real question is, do you want to spend $300 to get in early?
It's not getting early.
Absolutely.
It's skipping the lines. Skipping the lines is completely broken. This is the most broken thing we've ever had in the pod. I actually have a video. I can probably share it on the Patreon on our Discord of walking on the right side. For those of you at Worlds last year know, walk on the right side, and you're just walking and walking at normal pace, and there's no lines. And it's, I would say, for a good 1,500 feet, there's just people waiting in line.
Oh yeah, it was all the way through the lobby of the convention center, all the way through the hallway down to the hotel, and all the way into the hotel atrium.
Yeah, so like having to play a tournament after sitting there and like sitting with your bags and just like, you know, hour and a half in line. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. This is worth it just to skip the line. I don't care about getting into vendors early or any like the early like actual access. I just want to be able to walk in and walk out when I want.
I freaking hate standing in lines.
The getting through the line thing is obviously all of it. But it was kind of sick getting in early and taking a picture with all the cool like Star Warsy stuff when no one else is there and you can just bang it out.
I did like that. I didn't need to be in line for anything else, but I did like seeing all the stuff. And it felt like you really had space and time to move around, which I thought was really great. Also today I learned that the 8th set is called Ashes of the Empire, which I didn't know.
I wonder what that flavor is going to be. Ashes of the Empire. So that's like the
it's got to be some Mando
like right after
stuff. It's also like coinciding with Mando the movie coming out. So like Mando, Thrawn, Pillion.
I don't know anything about Thrawn. We'll take that offline. But I didn't know he was after the Empire. Like I'm thinking like the Death Star Death Star 2 just blew up and we're like living in that world.
That's what it is.
Thrawn is the heir to the Empire.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, so Thrawn
Today
has an interesting storyline where like he actually coincides with some of the first content that they made for Star Wars after this giant lull. So Return of the Jedi was 1983. Then there was a real gap when me and Mike were probably like 8 or 9 years old. There really wasn't much coming out. There was like a few video games and some comics, but there was really no content. And then Timothy Zahn wrote this book called Heir to the Empire. What was that? Maybe like 91, 92?
Probably.
It was a trilogy storyline, and it was really following directly what happened after Return of the Jedi. The Death Star blew up, but like, hey, there's still all these Imperials around.
Right.
Who's going to take charge there? And this guy named Thrawn came over and took charge. And then like, what's going on with the Rebels? Like, who's actually going to lead the new Republic? And like, that's Leia and Han. And what's happening to Luke now? He's this Jedi. Like, where does he go? So that was a really iconic storyline that kind of re-engaged Star Wars in between Return of the Jedi and then obviously the late 90s, the trilogies and special edition came out. So people have really like strong feelings about that. There's also this book called Shadows of the Empire, which became a video game.
Oh, true. That was a book before the game? Wow.
Yeah. I have it in my classroom,
those things
actually.
became non-canon. So they actually removed them from the storyline when Disney came out, and people were like, "Man, that stinks," because Thrawn was such a cool character. This character Dash Rendar was such a cool character. So then what happened is they actually reintroduced Thrawn because he's just so popular into the canon series, but without that actual backstory of like Heir to the Empire. And people were like, maybe that's something that we can actually have some point down the line because there's no you actually could still kind of incorporate that. So it's
and they had the same guy rewrite
like,
the new Thrawn books.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Thrawn's an enthralling character, and he's all about like intelligence and art, and like sort of different than like the Jedi Force way of thinking things. But he is sort of like a superhuman in a sense.
Well, the first Star Wars book I ever read, I can't think of the name of it. I used to know it, but it's the one with the Sun Crusher. So shout out to Kyle Catter in the Sun Crusher. All right, so the VIP package is broken. And now the train's going to come to a quick stop because we have a message from Steve.
What is this?
Now, none of us have listened to this, but this will be a weekly segment on the podcast where Steve is going to tell you how he feels about Star Wars Unlimited, which we all know that he thinks it's the greatest game ever. But I guess there's a but. So I don't know what we're going to call this segment, but right now I'm just calling it There's a But. All right, let's see if this plays.
Wait for it.
Star Wars Unlimited is the greatest game ever. But what the fuck is up with people drawing themselves out of day twos? Whoever that numpty was that played Diffie Yiffy Yay in their last round of Paris legitimately dropped a sentinel on the turn after time was called to force a draw. 6-2-1 does not get you to day two. I don't know what you were looking for, but bro, you bad. If you're angle shooting draws at that point in the game, you ain't making top 8. Be a stand-up guy, pick up your cards, say good game. You can call me salty, but how many times did I hear the casters over the weekend called Sip the arguably greatest player in the world? That dude was 9-0 at one of those sectors, regionals or something over there, and had time called on him. Would have been a draw. What did he do? He picked up his cards and conceded because his opponent had him dead on board. That's a stand-up guy. When you are the best player, arguably the best player in the world, you do the right thing. I mean, yes, it sucks that he then lost his last 2 rounds and didn't make top 8 when that draw would have got him there. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, if I was in that situation, I'd probably do the same thing. The only way I'm angle shooting a draw is if it's to keep Matty out of a top 8. Much respect, Sip. And honestly, I don't respect anybody in this game. All in all, Paris was a great trip. You know, they did a reasonably good job putting it on. I do really honestly think that they gave me a bad pool because I'm American. I can't say that I blame them. They probably would have given me that shit pool too. I think I played all of maybe 40 minutes of gameplay before I O2 dropped. Either way, hopefully the next time we get there.
All right. Great take by Steve.
Oh my
Steve
goodness.
is truly Rob Gronkowski when he's on before.
The Thrawn glasses.
the
It's
glasses.
crazy that we just were talking about Thrawn for like 10 minutes and then he wears the Thrawn glasses.
That's the front.
Yeah, was he wearing an ascot? That looked good.
Bundling up, it's
Sharp
cold.
looking guy.
Yeah, it is cold out
What do
there.
you-
I mean, there's definitely an unwritten rule to what's the word?
Concede instead of force a draw when you're
Yeah,
when you know you're gonna lose.
It's not chivalry. Like there's a sportsmanship angle of like drawing to screw you both when you lost a game, and like
There's a tipping point, right? There's
There-
like, did
yeah.
you lose, or is it like you're probably gonna lose, but like the game will be over in 3 more turns. You're behind. Versus like I actually watched that game that Steve's talking about with DFA. DFA had like completely won the game. I mean, it was
Diffie iffy,
remotely close.
that was pretty funny.
He had like Rex, he had Leia, his opponent's Leia was dead, he had like a other units out. He wasn't at like a threatening life total. I think the other guy had like 1 ship out. And he was basically, open to just claim the next turn, first action, the game's over. And the guy's like, it's a draw. So I do think that Matty, what you're talking about, that unspoken rule, like if you've lost and it's literally like if the game takes 10 more seconds to go or it just gets to the next turn, you'll lose like on the first action. Like, yeah, scoop it up, especially.
Scoop it up.
The only
Yeah.
factor, and I have no idea if this factors into either story Steve told, but like if the person who would have won is the reason the draw happened because like they played so slow, I could see someone
Right.
saying like, well,
Yeah.
you caused this draw, you did this to yourself, so
Right. I
you
can see
get
that
what
too.
you get back the energy you put out into the world.
Yes.
So and that
I
works.
think
out
there are
both
2
ways.
avenues. There are 2 avenues. One is that one. The other is like with the point structure. Like if you were at 85 points, like what would you do? Like I think I would
Right.
still concede. I'd like to say I would still concede.
Yeah,
Because
I think
the
so.
game's over and it's whatever. But at the same point, I could see it from that angle of like, this is literally a PQ finals for me. Like a draw is a PQ finals. And I am gonna like not give that up. But
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in the Pro Tour of Magic. People would draw to get the back when it was top 50 to keep their top 50.
Yeah,
and go to the
stay
next
on the
Pro Tour.
train.
I have no
Yep.
problem with that. I have no problem if a draw keeps you in the tournament, even if it is tough. I mean, if you're going to lose on the next action, there is kind of that whole thing. It's really like when you're sinking both people. I think that's kind of rough. If you
Yeah,
if it's
and that's what
overwhelming,
happened
like
there.
you played a hard
That's
fought.
what it was.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Steve. That'll be a weekly segment where Steve just cooks for a couple minutes, and we won't have listened to those, just like we didn't listen to that one. So that'll always be a surprise for everyone as as we navigate a world where Steve tells us what he thinks. All right. We got a couple more segments to go. Moving right along, we're gonna visit the Kashuk Academy of Higher Gaming and grade out some leaders here. We don't have to spend a ton of time on this because we're already nearing an hour. But we get some new leaders this week, and I think it's time to give some teacher grades to these leaders. So we got Emphas Nest. It's a 5-cost flip. Flips is a 3/7. On its leader side, when you use an on-attack ability, you can pay 2 and do that ability again. And then when Emphas is flipped as a leader, when you use an on-attack ability, you may use that ability again once per round, no cost. What do you guys think about this card? There's also a bunch of on-attack trigger units in Red Heroism that got released alongside Emphas Nest, so she'll have no shortage of people to use this ability with.
Emphas Nest is the student who most of the other teachers are failing. But in your class, you're like, I think this kid's got some talent here. Like, I feel like they're seeing some things, and other teachers are like, what, really? Like, what's going on? I think there's some potential here. I think it's an easy one to write off. It's like 3/7 kind of do nothing is sort of what I think a lot of people are maybe saying. But, like, if you get a critical mass, and the way I view this is, like, if you trigger the on-attack twice, some of the on-attack abilities are really strong. I'm thinking especially of like the Dr. Afra card that like lets you draw an Underworld card and sort of like Underworld synergy. There's a couple units that burn for extra. So like you think about a card that like does 2 damage, like a Daring Raid or 4 Cause, and like or a card that like lets you look at the top 3 and draw one. Like those are kind of like spells. So it's like cast a few free spells per game, and it flips on 5 and has like a reasonably statted body. You think about like putting Sudden Ferocity on this card. All of a sudden you're attacking for like 6/7. I think like
I knew you were gonna do it.
that's not the worst, right? And then it's hard. They got to answer this, and then you might have something else out. Like imagine attacking for 6, and then like having the other guy that 2-cost card or the 1/4 that's like does 2 damage when it attacks. That attacks for 11. Not granted, that card might not still be out, but if there's it, or like you draw 2 cards because of Afra now, and then all of a sudden you have not sudden ferocity, aggressive negotiations. I think it's got a nice little compact package here. And there's like it's interesting because it'll force you to look back at all the cards that say like on attack, kind of like a Thrawn, like the when defeated. Now you got to look at all the cards, double that one.
Yeah, I love that about a card. I love when a card forces you to like read every card again.
May give it like a low B, like an 84. I think great like 5 deploys great. It's got a big booty, so it can stick around. You can upgrade it. You're probably using it 0 to 1 times in the first couple turns, but then when it flips, you can do stuff with it, and then in the late game, there can be some stuff there.
Now, I don't know if anyone said this because I've been pretty unplugged the last couple days because it was my birthday, so I was just not spending it online.
Birthday, Mikey.
Thanks, buddy. If you have a credit, you can flip Emphas with Cinta and auto attack with something else that's on the board and trigger the on attack immediately, which like is pretty spicy.
Well,
yeah,
I haven't seen anyone mention that, but that would be a play that I would be looking to do with Emphas Nest.
How can you
use the credit to pay for Cinta
plot? Because when you plot, you declare, and then you
reveal, and then you pay.
Yeah. So you can do that. Yep.
So you'd reveal Cinta, you'd pay 1 with the credit and 5 resources. You play your Cinta, and you attack with something on the board that already has an on attack, and you get to use it twice.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy because that comes out of nowhere. All you need is the credit and the on attack.
Right. It's not like it's not magical Christmas land. I think it can actually like if credits are everywhere, I think like it's pretty reasonable.
Well, I'll be taking your credits with my 4/6.
Ooh.
Yeah, the credits.
Luckily, I had 2 because I knew I wanted to make this play. All right, I'm gonna give Emphas. I'm gonna give Emphas a B. I think that potential Cinta play has her like knocking on the door of getting an A minus. We'll see if we can get that to pop.
Yeah, I'm going B minus, but I'm recommending for honors.
Nice. Show some
I think
potential.
minus.
Put her in a position to succeed.
High B minus.
I like it. All right, next one is Darth Vader. This isn't a new one, but I think this one's like pretty interesting because it's 7 cost. Action, discard a card from your hand, deal 1 damage to a unit or base, so it turns anything into a rock. And then when you attack with Vader, he's a 7 cost, 6/8, Force Imperial Sith. Discard any number of cards from your hand, deal damage to a unit or base equal to the number of discarded cards. This card's discarded this way. So you can just Lava Axe everyone. You could just like make him plus what every single card in hand turns into a rock, doing 1 extra damage wherever you want it.
Don't see it.
Yeah.
C minus. I think like the only way that I could see.
Come closer to your mic because I need to be able to.
Oh, sorry.
Would you say C minus or B minus?
C minus. I don't see this card happening. Like I guess like if the games just draw up forever and you like have this gigantic hand with aggressive negotiations, I know that's been talked about. It's just like a lot of work to get like ditch your whole hand to like pump for 5. Like yeah, it hits big once, but
Yeah, I don't know. I was attacking for 14, 16 with Leia this weekend. I think.
But you dump.
Yeah, but I mean, like you're doing it to win. Like this is a killing stroke. This is like a 1-punch Vader. This is OTK, 1 turn kill. Like that's what we're looking to do here. 1 swing, 1 and game over.
The one thing that I'm dubious of is like if we have to discard cards from our hand, and then like that means we can't do the big aggressive negotiation plus on attack trigger as much because
no,
like,
that works.
It works. You do that.
No, I know it works, but like we've been discarding the whole game. So how many cards we can actually have? Like I know the combo works, but like how are we gonna keep it up?
Yeah, he's like a blank leader. I guess like that's the biggest drawback is like if you want to do the thing with him, he's a blank leader for the whole game, unless there's some way that we don't know yet to fuel your hand.
Yeah, I mean his
I think this card...
showcase art is sweet. His showcase art is nice. I like that. There is some power there. Like in Eternal, you can like do it, discard Kylo's tie and play it. Like that kind of stuff is cool. If they have more effects like that, although in Eternal, your 7 cost 6/8 liters probably not getting you there. But
not against Django.
You know, like if there's cards like that, like there's potential. He's not failing, but
he's not failing.
He needs a lot of help.
I think he really misses the card Power of the Dark Side. I think if this card could like play as a control deck and say I'm mulling for power Merciless. Now that those cards have issues as we've seen because there's a lot of value cards with whatever that Karis Nemika card and all that. But if you could potentially go mulligan for that Power of the Dark Side and claim, so you're like plus a card. Worst case scenario, you have to like put a damage into something and just discard a card from your hand, and then you're powering, and then you've kind of what Matty's saying. You've got this sort of like 5-card hand that you can play around with. Maybe they have a 2/2 out, and you can discard a card from your hand, and then do it again, and then like draw something, and then one shot with him. But I think it's resembles like the Kylo Tarkentown deck from Worlds, but that deck was like cycling and doing this cool stuff and like had a lot of other synergies. Like Migs was in the mix. You had Tarkentown. This doesn't have any of that. And it had Power of the Dark Side. And it had Force Throw. Like,
if this had Tarkentown, it would be a whole different ball game.
If this had Tarkentown and Migs, maybe, yeah. You can put it in your Twin Sons deck with Dedra. That way you can draw the Dedra card and then pitch it. There you go.
Nailed it.
There you go.
All right. So C minus, D plus for this guy?
Yeah, I'm going to give him a D plus.
All right. Well, here's Val, another new leader that we got this week. Give an experience token to a unit, an opponent creates a credit token. That's her leader side, and then she flips as a 6 cost 4/7 on attack. You get that same ability. Give an experience token to a unit. If you do, opponent creates a credit token. So you're allowing your opponent to ramp for +1/+1ing, coining your guy.
You know how remember after the grade we gave where it was like she needs support. If she gets support, she's a genius. This is Afra's twin sister who is getting the support. They're doing a lot of anti-credit stuff, and I truly think that she has an interesting angle with these blue-green Boggle deck and the, listen, we don't have Hexproof, but we have the Shieldies and we have things that can live a good way. I think it's a cool strategy. I'm giving her like a solid B, like almost B plus, because of all the help she's getting from
free experience is nuts.
Yeah, you have Galen, you have the one that turns them all blank, you have the one that was dropped today that kills a credit, you have the homeboy that we talked about, the 5 drop, that's insane. So just there, that's a lot of like you're going to be turning off credits pretty reliably.
Galen, did you mention Galen?
Yeah, I mentioned Galen. Yep, Galen, Tamarin. Yep.
I think this is an F. Here's why. I don't
repeat.
I mean, maybe there's some weird thing that you can do like late in the game. Here's the thing. Anytime you do, like, maybe there's like a sequence thing where you're like, you do it only after they play units. I haven't thought a ton about that, but I think from like in a vacuum, you can never do it into open mana because you're basically turning your opponent's leader into Han Solo, and that's like tough. Like, say you want to put an experience token on like your turn 1 to make like a 4/4 or whatever. Like, they just get to play like a Typho a turn earlier or a Queen Amidala a turn earlier. Right. That's the danger zone. Now, again, I haven't thought about the play patterns, so it could be that basically she says, you pass or something, they play a unit, you play a unit. But even if you do that, then they just claim and get to play their big thing the next turn. So, like, I just feel like that short window, like, you can't do it early because it's not like they're gonna play like a 7-cost card earlier. I just don't see you have the window to like turn the credit off. And if you're not doing it early, then it's like, I want to play her because I want to play like a 4/4 Battlefield Marine.
Right.
On turn 1,
you want
right?
to get
I want to play
immediate
like
advantage
early. And then if I'm doing that though, then my opponents are gonna what are opening hands? They're 2s and 3s and 4s. So now they get to just play the 4 on turn 2, or they get to play the 3 on turn 1. That's sort of where I see it as being a little bit sketchy. Maybe I should give her a D- because there is a sequencing thing of like pass, and then
maybe you want to go second on turn 1
and something. I don't know,
something like that.
Like, you play a unit and then they play a unit. It doesn't work that way. So
you play your 3-drop first thing you do.
Now there just seems to be a consistent way to blow these things up, like, or have them pre shut off, like the 3-drop 2/4, like Galen. That's the only way it's really.
I think what you're doing is you're pumping your second turn play more than your second or third turn play more than your first. So you're not like doing the thing where the first drop is getting out of hand, but like there's the 3-cost 4/4 rebel that now is a 3-cost 5/5, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, we get some spicy spoilers today after I made these slides.
And you trade or something.
At least she's like, I will give her the reason why I'm giving her a lot of credit too is like, this is a fun puzzle to try to solve. It is interesting. It is unique. It is not tap to heal 1. You know what I mean? It is not.
Right.
No,
it's
like,
a free ability.
There's at least something.
It's got a lot of. It's got potential to pop off, but not making the grade yet. All right, Director Krennic. This guy's been around for a while, but I wanted to see what you guys thought of this guy. He's a green leader. Action: defeat a friendly unit, create a credit token. When deployed, another friendly unit deals damage equal to its power to an enemy unit. So he's got some Palp vibes in that he sacrifices units, and he's got some Palp vibes in that he is doing some real board control when he flips, but he requires you to have another guy out. People are comparing him to Palp for a lot of those reasons. Is he as good as Palp?
You're the Palp.
I don't know if he's as good as Palp.
I mean, you get to turn all your shitters into ramp. That's kind of crazy. It more consistently lets you have a unit that your opponent can't deal with when he does flip. You don't get to ramp any closer to his flip, but creating credit tokens is going to be busted, I think.
I think you got to pair him with like a draw engine so you can, get to those big cards. Because like if you don't draw cards and you have these credits, you're just kind of like
or board creating engine, something that can
and there's
create
not
stuff,
as much
use
ramp
resources.
anymore.
Yeah, so far.
We lost Resupply. We lost Super Laser Tech.
Yeah, I'm going to give this guy a B+. I think he has the potential to be an A-. We got to see if he gets support and when.
Yeah, this guy needs the support.
I'm an
I don't
easy
know. I'd
grader.
say
I'll put him in a
C.
B.
Okay.
He's got cool upside. It's just like I think it's going to be a tough. Like I think we're really going to see the metal of some of these, like when set 8 drops and how they interact with that when jump to light speed kind of goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's when
That's what
set
happens.
10 drops.
Okay, 10. Jeez, so we're gonna have. Oh right, because we lost so many. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, jump's gonna be around a while.
It's gonna take.
Be the tone setting set for a while.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I think that was it for report cards. Yeah. Let's talk about Milwaukee Prep. So the meta is old.
Who's that guy?
That's
Mike,
someone in
Someone
the VIP
AI'd Mike.
channel AI'd
my
me
God.
to a geriatric person here with a cake that says 45. You said to put a picture of old Han, and I was like, oh, you know what's even funnier is this picture someone made of me. AI is crazy, man. What do you do?
Look
So,
good.
what's up?
I know. You said you look good in the picture.
Oh,
You're
thanks.
holding up.
So Milwaukee, this format has been around a while. There's a couple more weeks of PQs, and then Milwaukee, and then we're moving on to rotation, the Lawless Time, set 7, all this. How are you dealing with prepping for Milwaukee, knowing that you might have to play Premier, and what should people do who still want to play Premier but are dealing with this format that a lot of people aren't focusing on, and people might not be innovating?
Definitely a time to bust out some of the decks that fell by the wayside. Like as the meta changed and there's these evolutions, like it is you should really take a history lesson and know like why CAD fell out of favor in the beginning, why it came back now. Like same with Han Yellow. Like can you extrapolate those things? I think the early tournaments of the meta and like some of that intel that's out there with SWU competitive hub, like I think you can figure out a good angle to play. Or it's the last time you're gonna be playing like Spark in a big event, like just play something you like. But there's two ways to take it.
I agree.
Metas
with
always
that,
go like
the
this
two
though,
ways.
so like you can figure it out.
Yeah, it feels to me like there's the Han Yellow rise, and that deck feels like it's on the uptick. You could certainly check out SWU base to look at like, decks that you think you're gonna play against, and then plan accordingly. It's so tricky with a Star Wars game though. Like in Phoenix, Han 2 ECL won a sector. It was dominant overseas. We all prepared for it. We thought, it was going to be the best deck. And Mike, I think you played it a few times, but like I played it 0 times and I played against 2 Bosks.
Yeah.
So it's like
It's
at a
wild.
certain point, you're like
Right.
what Matty's saying about like play what you know. I still think play what you know beats everything. And then just make sure that the thing that you know has a plan against the meta, that it's not
Right.
just dead in the water. I think that's the winning formula of this game. It's like play what you know because it's a Star Wars game. You're gonna play your Bosks, you're gonna play your Jabba the Hutts, that's just what happens in this game. But then if you think there's a rise in, Phoenix, we thought there was maybe a rise in Cad Bane, Han 2 ECL. We thought there was a decline in Yoda, but we still wanted a plan to beat it. So like the decks that we played, we said this is our plan, right? And like this is our bad matchup. That's what I lost to in the top 8. I was like, I knew that villain data vault decks were a tough matchup. And then you kind of go from there. So I know for me, I'll be talking in our Discord about it, doing some Han 1 green prep. I'll be playing that if I'm playing Premier. I do think there's like a limited component here too. So people who are going out to the regional and they're like excited to play limited, you might have more people just opting into their tried and true decks because they like are prepping
Right.
for limited. They don't make it, and they're like, oh, I got my Han deck, I got my Han 2 ECL deck, I got my Yoda deck. I'm just gonna. That's my backup, and I'm gonna spend the time prepping for limited. So
That's a great point.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I spent the
Yeah,
last
you
few
see that
weeks
a lot.
prepping for limited, but now I'm kind of like over grinding those games and those pools, and I kind of just want to get back to figuring out what I want to play. if I have to play some Premier Milwaukee. I think playing what you know is obviously good. We always kind of beat that drum, but the Han 1 stuff is wild. How many PQs Han 1 has won between yellow and green? It's definitely become.
Have a plan for Han 1.
Yeah. And it's a tough guy to plan for because how do you it's really tough to plan for a leader that just ramps every turn and can basically do whatever he wants. So, I'll be trying to crack it. I don't know if it'll be CAD. Maybe take Palp for one last ride, but there's a spicy Yoda that just won the Maryland one, which was pretty cool.
Oh, we'll have to look at that.
Mo the Monster. Shout out to him.
What's the 3 cost -2/-2 tap?
Oh, perilous.
I guess that's
position?
what I mean by there. Try to find something I think some you could correct me if I'm wrong, but did No Good to Me Dead kind of come out of the meta a little bit? You could
I mean people have to play Waylay for Piet, so a lot of people use those slots interchangeably. It's hard to fit 3
Right.
No Good, 3 Waylay. So
yeah.
could be a No Good angle. The perilous angle. Condemn is also an angle.
Right, Condemn, quite good. So, I guess that's what part of the I like the idea of there's enough cards we're at the full extent of our meta that maybe whatever your pick your poison is can still pull from the card pool to find your silver bullets to meld the your deck to what the expected meta is. If you don't want to go try and find something new,
Yeah,
use your sideboard. Use some silver bullet one-ofs.
Looking forward to Milwaukee. I'm looking forward to ending this season and this 2-year span of the same decks, and looking forward to seeing what the tournament schedule is post A Lawless Time, see where we're traveling to, and ultimately really excited for this final stretch into the Galactic Championship. Cool.
Spring is coming.
Well, thanks to everyone for checking out our first episode of the new podcast. I hope you liked it. Hour 15 is pretty much exactly what I'm looking for in creating a podcast. So we basically nailed that. Remember to go to our Patreon page. If you want to get updates from us, feel free to just sign up as a free member just to get this podcast. This podcast is available on Spotify and iTunes, but sometimes with the first episode, it takes a day or two. So if you're watching this on YouTube or going to Patreon, getting an RSS feed, know that we will be on those, and we will have links to those on our Patreon page. Cool. Well,
Good to be back, boys.
It's good to be back, and we'll see you next week.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.